Here's a peek at what guests had to say after the show.
Okay, we're on the internet. First question, Billy Crystal. Who more than anyone has inspired or influenced your comedy?
Bill Cosby.
Really?
Yes.
All right.
Because he spoke. He just spoke to us. He told us stories. You know, I talk about him in my show. I mean, he had brothers. I had brothers. He played football at Temple. I belonged to a Temple, so there was Bill was the most relaxed comic, and he became a mentor to me. He took me under his wing when I was just starting out. He'd show up at little clubs I was playing in the Village and take me out and talk to me about it. And he said a very interesting thing: never let them catch you working.
Yeah.
That was his big. Never let them catch you working. Just talk, and I think that's a big thing.
George Bush felt that way also.
Don't read your tweets now.
And yeah, I mean, and you have, like him, you have found ways to stay in the game. Like, I mean, you're 65, as you're bragging about now, as you should. You were in a major motion picture just a few months ago. I remember that one you did with Julia Roberts. Was it called America's
Sweethearts?
Love that movie.
It's a funny movie.
I remember I took my mother to see it, and you wrote it, right?
Yes.
And like you modulated from the leading man. You're like, now I'm older. I'm going to give myself the secondary role, and I'm going to write a great part for Julia Roberts. You know how to stay in the game. You are going to be here when you're 85.
Oh yeah, and I'm looking forward to playing my my age jockey role.
Yeah.
You know, the Mickey Rooney Black Stallion part. You know, that's 145.50. Oh, she's a beauty. I'm gonna sleep in a barn with her. Is that okay? She's got a little fever. She looks shiny. 144.50.
Okay, David Frum. Why do you think medical marijuana is, as you say, a laughable fiction?
Oh, because there's nothing medical about it.
You know, some people absolutely have gotten relief in ways they never have before. You know that's true.
The numbers are vanishingly small, and when you look at it is true. In the state of Colorado, I think it's like 2% of medical marijuana prescriptions are for cancer and 1% are for HIV. Here in California,
what about glaucoma?
What about AIDS? What about anything where people...
Nausea. What about nausea?
Chronic back pain. That is what the prescriptions are written for, and they're written by doctors who don't meet their patients, who are a handful of doctors are writing tens of thousands.
So you don't think it should be legal?
I don't think it should be legal.
Why? What's wrong with it?
I think we put out enough snares and traps for people. I see it as I see it as.
Have you ever tried it?
Yes.
And it didn't work for you?
It did. That's why I'm against it.
What if they genetically modify it? Will you like it?
It's the government's job, Mr. Republican, to tell the people what's right for them?
It's just as we have government. We have government that inspects whether your credit card contract is abusive. We have government that inspects whether your whether your whether your cell phone bills are abusive. That one of the ways that America has changed.
What does that have to do with what I couldn't? I mean, you're all for the privacy, and what could be more private than what goes on in my own head?
I am somewhat. I'll just speak for my politics, not for other people's. I am concerned that we are getting better and better and better at writing off people who are dealt an unlucky hand at the beginning of life. And I mean, the marijuana may not have done you any harm, but it's done a lot of other people harm. And you would be fine. You know, the question is, are we going to run society in such a way that makes it more convenient for you, who's going to be great anyway, or whether we do a little bit more protection for people?
But come on.
Wait, let's just say this.
Even if this was correct,
the other part of this equation is.
Good Lord.
225.50. Yeah. Boy, that was the slowest quarter she ever ran.
It's structured, you know.
But even if you could do this, which I don't think you could or wise, the drug war, we've tried it for 40 years.
Also, if you're concerned about people who are not winning the natural lottery and who are born into bad circumstances, the drug war is hammering them and has been hammering them.
Yeah, that's.
I'm not in favor.
Are you for getting rid of alcohol as well?
I am very happy that Americans drink a lot less.
But should we get rid of it? I mean, you're saying you're saying pot should be illegal.
Well,
then
what about
certainly alcohol is way more harmful.
For the people who are
certainly we should make that illegal.
Right.
We did.
Cigarettes.
For the people who are most likely, for the people who are most likely to abuse alcohol, 18 to 21-year-olds, it is now illegal.
Okay, but what about the rest of the people who abuse it also?
Those are the people who are we have moved.
Certainly no one has ever been able to answer that conundrum. If marijuana is illegal, then obviously the one that's even more harmful should be illegal too.
Every other drug in our society, we're moving in the direction of greater illegality.
You're not answering the question. Should we make alcohol illegal again if pot is?
I don't think we should I don't think we should send people to jail for smoking marijuana, and I don't think we should ban alcohol. But we did ban alcohol for people 18 to 21 in the middle 80s, and that has had a huge impact on auto safety. It's had a huge impact on reduction in alcoholism. We've made a lot of social progress.
Okay, all right, okay. All right, I love the frustration and feistiness you've shown, Chris Hayes. Is there a specific issue that drives it?
Well, you know, I think that I find myself in a situation in which I want to have. You don't want to be a closed-minded jerk just because you have strong beliefs or worldview, and you also don't want to reduce your ideological enemies to caricatures. And yet, there are certain things like voting to cut $40 billion from the food stamps program after they cleaved off the bill so that they could have a special vote in which they voted to stuff government money in the pockets of large farm interests, including members of Congress themselves. There's a member of Congress in Tennessee who has gotten farm subsidies himself, okay? Right. He voted to keep sending farm subsidies and then a few weeks later voted to take money out of the hands and food out of the hands of poor people. And you hit some point where you are just staring into some moral abomination that doesn't allow you to feel particularly charitable or open-minded.
What do you think of Al Jazeera America so far?
You speaking to me?
Has anyone seen it?
No.
I worked for them.
That's right.
That's right. Their previous incarnation.
Well, Al Gore owned Current TV, and then he sold it to this Arab country that basically has a lot of oil, I think. So it was a little odd for Al. Qatar, yeah. But they were very nice to me. My boss went from Al Gore to Ahab and Mufta. And then I left, and that was it.
Right.
But they were very nice. Yeah, very nice.
It's a tough marketing sell. It's like, I remember there used to be a candy called AIDS.
Oh, yeah.
Remember AIDS?
AYDS.
And I remember I would love to have been at that meeting after the AIDS virus hit. Fellas, we are going to have to completely rethink how we sell our product now.
Wasn't it
We've
to
had a
lose
little
weight?
bump in the road here.
I think it was a dietary candy.
It was a dietary
weight,
candy, yeah. You see my point. The UN Happiness Index lists Canada, Denmark, Norway, Switzerland, the Netherlands, Sweden, and Finland as the happiest countries. What does it say to the panel that only one North American country is on the list? Billy Crystal.
It's Canada, right?
Now, I've been in Finland.
Really? Finland?
Yes, that is not a happy country.
Yeah.
Why were you on a press?
I was coming back through Russia, and you come back for laughs through Finland.
Right.
It's dark at noon.
Yeah,
right, yeah.
They're bombed
like
by 12:15.
That's right.
They're throwing herrings at each other by 5. How is that a happy country?
The Danes are happy. The Danes.
The Swedes tell a joke about the Finns, and this is Swedish ethnic humor. The Swedish joke. How do you tell an
This is going to be exactly where I thought we ended up.
Can we smoke a joint first?
How do you tell an extroverted Finn he looks at your shoes when he's talking to you?
That's
125.40.
all right. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you coming, and we will see you next week. All right.
Real Time with Bill Maher, Friday night at 10. Ask Bill and his guests your questions right after the show at HBO.com.